Hi, everybody. My name is Albert Dupont, and I am the owner of Track Method, which is a company focusing on leadership development and team workforce development. And I'm honored today to host the webinar that we have today around for the LGBT and the Gulf South LGBT Chamber. Joining us today is Team Communify, which I'm excited to have you guys here. And we're going to have some great stuff happening around marketing and how to really connect with people. They're an amazing group of people. We have about 6 or 7 of them on board. And so I'll go ahead and turn it over to him in a second, but just a couple of logistical things. One, if you have a question, the team will be giving you an opportunity to unmute yourself and actually ask questions along the way. In the meantime, if you can mute yourself right now, that would be great to prevent the background noise. And the other thing also is that I will be monitoring for the team the chat box. And if you have any questions that you don't want to necessarily ask out loud and you just want to put them in the chat box, we can get those done too. Like I said, I will be recording this. So at the end of it, I'll send the information over to Mike Daly and his team, and they will upload the link for you guys to listen to in the future. If you need to re-listen or to actually share with other team members. So welcome, Dustin and team, and I'll talk to you guys right now.
Awesome, thanks everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so we can pull up this presentation. Can everybody see that? Mm-hmm. Awesome. So first up, I want to thank Albert for hosting. He's been being our ringleader for all these webinars, and we really appreciate it. I want to thank the Chamber for putting on these free webinars for this time to really help our community during this time. So we know this is an insane time for everyone. Everyone's trying to, figure out their new routines, their new working conditions. We thought it would be helpful to talk about how to stay connected to your customers during this time. We've had a lot of our clients, that are a little bit nervous about what to say. They don't want to come off insensitive, but they understand, that it's important right now to stay out there and stay connected. So hopefully this will help relieve some of that, so that you will feel okay doing that. This is super free form. I don't want this to feel formal. If at any point during this you have a question, if you want to type it into the box, you're more than welcome. If you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, please feel free to do so. So I'm Dustin, the owner of the company. If you don't know me, we're actually celebrating our 20-year anniversary this year. I started the company in Los Angeles, and it was there for the first 10 years. And then in 2010, I moved it here. And we have most of our team on with us today, so I'm super excited. You'll probably be hearing from some of them as we go through this presentation as well. And we're going to try to save some time at the end for questions that don't get addressed during this as well. So, and Rach, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Okay.
Yes, I am Rachel Wilson. I am a copywriter, and I specialize in pretty much writing brands and brand voice and tone, helping brands really convey who they are to the people they're trying to connect with. I write everything from brand guides that solidify what your brand is, all the way to direct mail and social media. So you name it, I pretty much write it.
Awesome. So for those who aren't familiar with Communify, we're a creative and branding agency. 3 of our main focus areas are strategy, brand, and web development. We have a pretty broad client base. It spans, the whole 20 years. It's everything from entertainment companies to tourism boards to local attractions like World War II, and we do a lot of work for nonprofits also. And we're going to jump right in. I'm going to kick it off to Rachel. We have this broken down into like 4 sections, so I'm going to let her take number 1.
Okay. So call me maybe? No, definitely. I'm sure you all remember that song. It kind of got stuck in my head when Dustin and I were writing this webinar for y'all. So please enjoy my little bit of humor. But now is the time to really reach out and connect with people. It's hard for me to not talk with my hands. So if you see them in front of my face, please don't judge me. But what we're noticing is that a lot of people are setting up Zoom meetings to bring people together. Friends are having Zoom happy hours. They're playing games together. And it's connecting people in ways that we never thought it was gonna be, right? We never thought like people were gonna hang out on Zoom. That was never a thing. And now all of a sudden people are doing it. And I think what's really cool is that if you are a small business, right, or a big business, putting yourself out there and doing a Zoom happy hour where you take ingredients from your house and you say, we're gonna make a cocktail together and we're gonna play a game of trivia. Even though you're not necessarily selling anything, what you are doing is you're giving people a reason to like you and to feel connected to you. And you're giving people a smile in a time when they may feel a little bit insecure or not sure what's going on, but you're connecting with them in a way where later when they're thinking, okay, now I need to do whatever it is that I need to do with your business, you're more top of mind because they remember having this wonderful positive experience with you. If you do something, if your business is more involved in, let's say you do financial planning, right? A lot of people are really scared about their finances right now, but there are ways that you can save money. So putting on a lunch and learn through Zoom, where you give a few tips on how to make your dollar stretch a little farther. Maybe you know of some websites that have really good deals. Share that information with your people, because even though it's not necessarily about financial planning, it shows them that you care and that you understand where they are in this moment. Another thing that I really recommend is to shoot out an email to your clients. Now, you can do this two different ways. You can send out an e-blast where you send to everybody, and it's a kind of a caring message. Of course, first recognizing what is going on, talking about how you're doing, encouraging them to please write back to us. Let us know how you're doing and what's going on with you. Always be genuine and share them a bit of information that may be helpful for them. Like, what are your new business hours? Are you doing takeout where, you know, if you're restaurants, are you doing takeout? Have you moved your shop that's on Magazine? If you sell clothing on Magazine, or you moved your shop online? If you're a photography business, are you doing 15-minute sessions in the park where you're still obeying social distancing rule to help people, you know, create content for their businesses at this time? So share that in your emails. If you have close clients that you're really, really close with, send them a personal email, not just an email blast. Checking in. That too shows that you care. And when all of this is over, you'll be top of mind.
I think also just, you know, I feel like I've had more conversations with clients during this time than I have in like the last 5 years. And it's really helped guide us and figure out, you know, how to move forward through this, because we're gauging their business and their issues. All right, so are those dust bunnies under your brand? We've been advising clients that right now is the perfect time to take a look at your internal marketing. Fine-tuning this stuff right now will really put you ahead of your competition after this is all over. Is your logo so old a facelift couldn't even help? Your logo and brand are, you know, they're the first thing that people see about you. It's the first impression you make, and you really want those to represent you. I grabbed a couple of our old logo refreshes that I wanted to share. This first one is an event company called Big Easy Events. His old logo on the left, you know, it was really complex with things overlapping the city inside of the word big, and it was really hard to reproduce on anything, and it just didn't really represent what he wanted. A lot of his clientele are women who, you know, are event planners. He wanted this logo to kind of be a little softer and just feel like, you know, something that was a little more modern. So, but we were able to keep some of the elements of the old logo, which I really love, and that kind of helped him keep some of that equity that he had in his logo. Beauchamp Condos. This is a place in Baton Rouge focusing on students. The old logo, I think, had been photocopied so many times that, like, I don't even know what those things are on each side of the text. But we just did a really clean version, use the oak leaf, because the area where they are has a lot of that, and just updated nice and clean logo. And then Southern Construction, she had created the logo on the left from clip art. It wasn't something that they ever really used or were proud of. And when we rebranded to the logo on the right, the whole company just felt so proud of the updated logo. They have it printed on all of their signs, on their places of where they're doing work, and everybody, you know, hats and everything. It's been really great. Does your website freak out at the mention of a smartphone? So obviously people are using phones more and more, especially now. Rachel's going to get into it a little bit more, but I think app usage is up about 20% right now from some of the studies that we've seen. If someone visits your site on their mobile phone and they're not able to access the information that they need, they're just moving on to somebody else. So you really need to make sure that your website is mobile friendly and will work. You know, give people the information that they want. Does your language fit your brand personality? So language is like a super important part of your brand. If the language on your site doesn't fit the personality that you're trying to convey, I mean, this is a great time to fix it. So you can do this later, and we'll share this with you, but this is a little exercise that you can do to see what your brand's personality is if this isn't something you've done before. If your brand were a person, what would they wear? What would your brand's favorite movies be? What would your brand's favorite songs be? What type of things does your brand do for fun? And basically what you're trying to come up with is like, is my brand friendly? Is it fun? Is it smart? Is it serious? Is it trendy? And then you're going to use that personality or those personality traits to help you create the writing, create the graphics, create the social, so that everything feels like it all ties together. And then the last thing in this section is, how has your business model changed? A lot of people during this time have had to shift things. They've had to change their business model. They've had to change their strategy. And now is a time to make sure that your website reflects that.
So unlike Britney Spears that uses auto-tune all the time, social media doesn't have it. I mean, you know, there's no auto-tune to jump in there and save your messaging if you somehow go off kilter. So what does this mean? If you don't have a digital strategy right now, kind of like a content strategy that talks about some key points. So every brand is based with pillars, right? Those are like the things that you stand for. And if your social media doesn't connect back to the things that you stand for, then your messaging kind of gets lost. So it's important to create social media that all ladders back to those 5 or 3 key principles that what your brand stands for. So if you don't have a social media strategy, now is the time to do it, especially because more people are online, on Instagram, on Facebook, on all these different platforms trying to connect with each other. And if you're not putting your message out on the platforms that people are using, you're missing the boat. If you're used to doing a ton of billboards, no one's driving, no one's gonna see them. Invest in taking that money away from out-of-home media that you would usually do, and invest in doing some really great social media and boosting those posts and putting it out there. Another thing is that, you know, you shouldn't be tone deaf at this time. You know, things are going on. People are really struggling. Let's not say things that, you know, are going to hurt people's feelings accidentally, and you don't know what that stuff is. So some good tips is that, number one, acknowledge that COVID-19 is going on. Also, but don't make every single post about COVID-19. People need kind of a little break from it. Okay, but that doesn't mean go out and film something completely crazy and off the wall either. So people want you to be real with them. So be real with them. Share posts that are real. Do posts that have positive messages. Pull quotes from famous people that is a positive message that makes you feel good. A saying that you've heard, or an inspirational thought, or like something that makes you feel good about yourself and kind of is like a little sparkle ray of sunshine. Also, look at relevant information to share with your audience. You want to share helpful information to your clients. Like, let's say you found a cool new hand sanitizer recipe for people. Share that. Share that on social media. People need that information. Let's say you found a cool way to make a scarf into a mask, or fold a bandana into a mask. Share that information online. People want to see it. They need to see it. And also share important information about your business. Let's say you're a restaurant and you don't have a full kitchen right now. You're not making watermelon tuna sashimi anymore. So let's say you're only doing po' boys. Talk about how great your po' boys. We have a limited menu right now, but please come out, support us. We've got these 3 po' boys we're selling, and we've got, you can pick it up to go. That kind of thing. So really do that. If you have new hours for your business, or you're doing business a little differently, post that information wherever you can. Make sure it's on your website. Make sure it's on a social media. Make sure that, you know, it's everywhere where your people are, so that they know how to find you, because you don't want them to be frustrated when they're trying to find you. Another thing is, people want to know if you're giving discounts, or if you're doing something that's giving back to the community. So this might be a really good time. I know that Communify, we did a free day of service where we posted on a social media post where we said, we're going to give out free marketing advice. Sign up for a session, costs you nothing. You tell us what your problems are. We'll shoot a bunch of solutions out at you and help you. We got a lot of people that responded, and it was really a wonderful thing. One, it made us feel good because we were doing something positive for other people. And two, we gave people advice and they didn't have to pay for anything. And now they've left us with a positive impression of us. So if you are a financial planner, consider giving free financial advice for 30 minutes and ask me your financial advice questions and I will answer them. Let's say you have someone who is trying to you're doing photography, figure out a way to teach people like how to get a better picture. Like, what are some tips? Hold it up high so you don't have a double chin. I don't know. But these are things that you can do. You can also, if you're a t-shirt business or a business that sells, maybe you donate a percentage of your sales to a charity for a certain day. And you say, on this day, we're donating 5% of our sales to a food bank in New Orleans or in whatever city you're in, or 10% off on this one specific item. Unlike reality, you should be in more places at one time. So like I said, don't be afraid to write blogs. Don't be afraid, and post them on your website and share them on Facebook or LinkedIn. Don't be afraid to post on Instagram or Facebook. I will say that Instagram is more photo-centric, so more beautiful photography, graphics, illustrations, that kind of thing. It grabs the attention. Social media is like an out-of-home billboard. You have like 5 seconds to like catch someone's attention and get that heart or get that like. So, you know, make sure your message is clear, to the point, and concise. And then again, and I mentioned this before, consider boosting your posts. If you have a thing where you're donating 5% of your sales to a specific charity, boost that post. One, it shows that you're giving back to the community, and two, it gets the word out more than just your regular traffic and your regular fans that are looking at your site.
Yeah, I think just to reiterate, the one of the frustrating things during this time has been trying to figure out who's open and who's not. And they maybe updated their website, but they didn't update their Google. And it's just been really hard to try to figure out, you know, what's happening. Just keep that in mind, because the further we go into this, and as some of the stay-at-home restrictions start to lift, you know, people need to know what's going on with your business. What happened? Okay, so, and be a little extra. Look for ways. Small gestures at this time can really do a lot to connect people to your brand. So look for ways. What can you do just to give a little extra to people to show them that you're thinking about them during this time? You know, if someone has purchased a photo package, can you add a couple of extra photos? You know, if we design a logo, maybe we do a couple of add-ons. We do a business card or something else. Just look for ways that you can add value to your clients, and it just shows that you're really aware of what's happening with everybody right now. And then the other thing is to think ahead. We've really tried over the past several weeks to think about our clients. They may not know. I feel like a lot of people are kind of stuck right now and don't really know how to move forward. And so we've been trying to give guidance, you know, come up with ideas. You know, have you thought about adding this page to your website that talks about, you know, ABC, or just think about things that you can do. It'll show your clients that you're not just trying to sell, but you're thinking about their business and how to help them move forward. And that would apply for customers as well. So we tried to kind of boil this down. I feel like in these webinars, oftentimes there's a lot of information and it's sort of hard to figure out where to go with them. But so we boiled down a few takeaways. Do you want to walk through these, Rach?
Sure. Connect with people. Be genuine. Use this time to update your brand and website. This is like I said, we can't stress this enough. When are you open? What are your new hours? What is your new business at this point look like? How are you helping people? Stay connected on as many platforms. Again, that's just a way to keep connected, keep on people's radars, show them that you care. And again, small gestures go a long way in connecting people to your brand. If you're a restaurant, maybe you throw in an extra cookie. If you're a photography company, maybe you throw in a few photos, extra snapshots. If you're, you know, just think of little ways to give back. Maybe it's a sticker that you include in the packaging. If you're a clothing company or you're sending out packages to people, maybe just include like a little sticker. I know, like, I've bought stuff from a brand called Glossier, which sells makeup, and they always throw in like little stickers, and they're literally maybe about 1.5 inches. They're the tiniest things ever. And so just throwing in like a little something, you know, and it has their logo on it. That's all it is the name of the brand, and it's a sticker. And I see those stickers and I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. So yeah, find ways to reach out and do something fun.
And now I'm gonna try to figure out how to take this off of presenting, and we have some time to kind of go through people's questions.
I might be able to help you. How about that?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, can you get it off?
Yeah, like take away your rights here. How's that? Yep, I took away your rights. I love power and control. So Rachel, this is the first question for you. Is Brittany still performing? Daniel wants to know, but you'll have to read that, and I'm not going to go into why he asked that, but he was wondering. So we do have a few questions. Let's open it up right now. Does anybody have any questions? And then I can come back and ask Daniel's question. And then Sheila has a question up there, but go ahead and let's unmute yourself and ask away.
Hey, Rachel, can you hear me?
Yeah, Vance.
Very good.
Yeah.
Dustin, Rachel, great webinar. I think your term "boost that post" is self-explanatory, but I wanted to make sure that I'm correct in my thinking. What is your definition of when you say "boost that post"?
So that's putting a little dollars. Oh, I'm sorry. What did you just say?
No, I'm sorry.
I
Go
didn't
ahead.
mean to talk over.
No, that's all right. No, we're good.
Okay.
I just wanted clarity on what that means when you were saying "boost that post."
Okay, so what I mean by boost that post is there are ways that you can put some dollars behind a post through Instagram and social media, Facebook.
Gotcha.
And it will increase the number of people, the eyeballs on your post.
Got it.
So like let's say you have a following, like where it shows how many people are following you on your Instagram page. I'm just using Instagram as an example. And it says 200 people. When you post, 200 people look at 200 people potentially will see your post. Maybe only 20 of them will respond. When you boost a post, you're getting, I'm pulling this number out of my tissue, but you're getting like 1,000 people or 2,000 people getting their eyes on your post. So
makes perfect sense. Got it. Thank you.
You're also really able to target that as well. So you can target it to a specific destination, and that will help you make sure that the message is getting to the right people.
Great. Thank you.
So Dustin, Rachel, as a follow-up to that question, does your team help support people do that? Is that a service that you guys provide, or where would I find somebody to help me? You know, I'm not a Facebook ads guy. So who would help Vance and I to do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we can help with that. We don't really specialize, too much in handling full social posting, but we can definitely advise and put you in the right direction for somebody that can help with that.
Thanks.
Gotcha.
Vance, anything else on your end?
No, that's good. Great information. I got a lot of good bullet points here. So thank you all.
Thank you. Daniel, what about yourself? Anything on your end besides Brittany?
Well, actually, I happen to be Googling around about Brittany, and she is doing some social media stuff and no, actually it's funny. It's a joke, but it's serious. I mean, so I'd heard she might be done performing, but she actually is still very active on social media, and she's doing social distancing and doing all this stuff. So, Brittany's a business like everybody else. So I knew she was under the conservatorship of her father or whatever that was. But so she's at home doing stuff. But I have a question as far as my own business. So I've been doing daily videos, and because I'm at home. So I was originally posting them out on Facebook Live and then re-uploading them to YouTube and then embedding them on my website. But I stopped doing that. It was just a lot of time to do that and do all the hashtags. But my question is, do you have a recommendation for which live platforms to do and then it stays uploaded there? I mean, I know there's Instagram Live, but and I was doing a little bit of that, just like 10-second or whatever. But I guess the basic question, like Facebook Live versus YouTube versus like spending time uploading it on your website, because that might help with SEO, or just how would you do that?
I think, and Philip might want to jump in here because we've kind of been having conversations about that. For us, we hadn't really done a lot on YouTube, and it's part of the strategy that we're starting to add into our plan, because YouTube is I guess it's like the number 2 search engine now, right? Or up there. So, I mean, as far as I don't know that much about Facebook Live. Actually, Lacey might also be a good person. But Philip, do you want to talk anything specific about kind of what you guys have been talking about with YouTube stuff lately?
Yeah, sure. So I think for us, well, let's talk about like where to do it first. So I think if most of your audience is on Facebook, then that would be the place to go. I think YouTube in and of itself is this massive search engine, and you can go and start like typing in the search engine, like I don't know what your business is exactly, but how do I whatever, and then when you're finished the how do I part, YouTube automatically populates with the stuff people are searching for, right? So that gives you, like, without any other data, you can say, all right, well, these are some queries that people are using. So that'll help you sort of pinpoint when you do decide to do a YouTube specific video where you can place it in there and what content you need to make for it. Another piece too, and this is something we talk about a lot internally, is that making content is very time consuming and it's a lot of work. And like you said, posting the same video across multiple platforms is it's a lot of work. But how can you make that one piece of video, how can it provide more content than just a video? So you have the video, there's some script there, I would imagine. So you can take that transcript and embed it into your website for SEO purposes. And then, like you said, you can embed that video on your website, and then you can make a blog post about it too. So this one piece of content, so even if you only do Facebook, right, because you decide that that is where your audience needs to be, where you're going to get the most exposure, you can still take that same piece of content and put it out in different places in different formats.
If anybody else has any specifics that they want to throw in about Facebook Live, we just haven't done a ton of experimenting with that. Okay.
Anything else, Daniel, on your end?
We lost you, Daniel. What's your unmute yourself?
He's definitely unmuted. Something's going on
Okay.
with the connection there. While Daniel's trying to get back up, I want to let you know, because Lacey put something really important for the group. She says that Santa Fe is giving out free churros if you spend $30. So we wanted to make sure that everybody knew about the free churros. So thank you, Lacey, for advice. Daniel, you're back. Something's not right. If you type it in these areas.
Hey, everybody, this is Luke. Can you hear me?
Hey.
Hey, all
Yeah.
right. I know, I'm sorry. I was stuffing my face for lunchtime. Yes, that is a bottle of Blue Code gin. Yes, that is. But a few questions came up about like the Facebook Live, Instagram Live. One of the great things with those two is that something Rachel was saying too, connecting with people, and it makes you feel norm. So when you don't have a haircut or can't shave, when people see you, they're able to connect with you, and you making those videos personable as well. That's a opportunity to show off some of your services and skills. If you want to give advice, like financial advice, cooking advice, things like that. The great thing too with Facebook Live is where you can interact with people with the comments too. So as people are asking you questions, one thing I do recommend, if you're going to do a Facebook Live or Instagram, make an announcement first. Post about it first. Get some exciting leading up to it, so people will know that you're going live, so they can support you too. Because if you just randomly go live at 1:17 in the afternoon, we all are in Zoom meetings, Instagram, and doing our own thing. But make sure you do like at least 24 hours. Give everybody stuff that, hey, I'm going live to talk to you guys about the loan status of things like that, so you can start generating interest, and then reach out to your own network. Hey, Billy Bob Thornton, whomever, I'm going live. Can you guys attend to help get my streams up? So make sure that's just a good strategy when it comes to going live as well.
It's wonderful.
Daniel, what's your business? If you can talk, if we can hear you now. Put it in the chat box, maybe.
Chat box, Daniel. We can't hear you for some reason. We can do this. Try again, Daniel, just in case.
Inner makeup astrology. Okay, cool.
Yep, there
Thanks
it is.
for the link.
So that was his. Thank you, Daniel. Sorry about that.
One thing I would add to what Luke commented on, that I see some people taking advantage of and some people don't, is there is a lot of the channels are allowing you to broadcast. For example, Zoom can feed directly into Facebook Live. That's a built-in feature. So you can go ahead and take that and put that into multiple channels at the same time, kind of making some of your life easier. So you're doing it at one time, but going into multiple channels. So from a social media perspective, take a look and just check and see if that's available, because a lot of them are quickly changing and adapting to allow for that.
Thanks, Blake, for that ninja tip. Sheila has a couple questions here. Sheila, do you want me to do them for you? Do you want, there you go.
I muted myself if you can hear
Go
me.
for it.
I was actually going to say there's also, I used to use if this then that. So if you post this here with hashtag, you can like create a rule that posts it in a different place if you connect everything. I used to use that a long time ago. I haven't used that in a while. My questions were just sort of about like, this more of a Dustin question about what's sort of your best advice about writing up a plan. Like, you know, writing up a plan, because I have all these like insane ideas, but there's literally only one of me and so many hours in a day. And so, you know, I've been reading a little more about the like Eisenhower doing like urgent versus important, but my brain moves a million miles a minute. So is that something that y'all could help with, or how does that like, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah.
And then the other question is kind of also more of a Rachel question, but I'll let you.
Are you talking about a strategy for like posting?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I think it's more like when you're talking about, you know, all the things that we could do right now to reach out, like, do you have something that's sort of like, this is what you should like, at least at a very minimum do? Because I have a hard time thinking about like reaching out to people, but not having something ready for them and not wanting to be caught off guard either. As a lawyer, it's different than if I'm, you know, I'm reaching out to my clients, but it's more of in a supportive way, less in a like, I don't know. So I don't know. I didn't know if you had about that.
I think it's a little different for every business. I think I have been reading a lot that post frequency has gone down in general. So people, you know, businesses are still posting, but they're posting less frequently, but they're still trying to keep themselves out there. And I think it's a little different for every business. Like I feel like for you, it might be a little bit more about personal connections versus, you know, a lot of, you know, people like the emotions that people are wanting right now are more supportive. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones Rachel was talking about, just kind of more, you know, mostly informational, really, to keep people up on what's happening with you and your business and where they can find you and how they can work with you. They want to see that, you know, that you're supportive. But I mean, in terms of like a very specific schedule, I think it would just kind of depend on an individual business. But yeah, we could definitely help with that.
Okay, that's a good question. I'm sorry, Lisa.
I agree with Dustin. It's different for every business, but in addition, you probably want to post at the, like a rule of thumb, because I know I like rules of thumb, is at the least 2 times, at the most. Some people go for 7. I say at the most 6. Why wear yourself out? But right now, like while you're kind of at home and not having to go and do other things, a good place to start showing up more is in your stories and on, like if you're on Instagram, your IGTV, because in there you can kind of give live video tips. And what it does is it puts your face in a little bubble that goes like to the top of someone's screen. So as soon as they open their stuff, they're automatically like, oh, what's she doing? Let me click on it. And it can be really simple stuff. But I know like even for our business, we normally post 6 days a week. Right now we're at 4 or 5, but I'm all over the stories because I can also put quizzes and stuff in there that kind of get people to engage. So I don't know if that helps, but that's definitely something to think about. Not only the post, but trying to get into stories and get people to engage with them.
Right. Okay.
Those quizzes, just to piggyback off those quizzes and stuff, or the kind of asking people to engage, like ask me something. Yeah, the polls, or like there's like a thing where that shows up. I'm not even saying the words right, but there's like a shows up, and it'll be like, ask me something, and you can type in, and then respond later with another video being like, someone asked me, blah, 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 blah. And then you get to answer it. So that'd be kind of cool.
Sheila, you have a part two?
I'm still, yeah. Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, the other question was just, I think it was more of a question for Rachel from a content perspective. You know, I seem to recall some advice about not posting the same thing on all the platforms because it could create some like brand fatigue, and risk losing followers on different, you know, different brand, just depending on where, if they followed you on several different platforms. And then I don't know, how are you feeling about that now, considering everybody is watching and present and thinking and listening? And
So I'm just gonna be real with you. My professional opinion is that each platform has a different tone and should have different content. Now, it is okay to cross-pollinate. It is okay to post a blog on Facebook and the same blog post again on LinkedIn. That's totally okay. There are some times when posting a specific content on multiple channels makes sense, but you do get burnout, and then people who are looking at your Facebook page and your Instagram page seeing the exact same stuff, it's kind of like scroll through it. You know, you get kind of glossy-eyed. You stop paying attention to it. Like people who are posting videos every single day. I think it's one thing if you're posting little videos on your Instagram stories and they're like little check-ins and they're cute and they're fun, or they're informative for a specific amount of time. But I worry about businesses that are posting every single day and it getting burnout. Like it's like there's nothing new happening.
Do you think,
for example,
sorry, go ahead, Ray.
Now this is a different scenario. Miley Cyrus, now she has a lot of followers, okay? So I'm not a Miley Cyrus, but Miley Cyrus had a Instagram live show where she every day posted an Instagram live show. If you were gonna do something every day, make it a series. Give it an anchor point, give it a name. Every day at this time, I post this content for you, so that it has something to kind of gel it together rather than it feeling like a whole bunch of random content coming together. Does that, am I making any sense?
I do think though right now, I mean, in terms of like information, like getting information across and letting people know your hours, like I think right now it's a little bit different in that it is okay to have more information out there on multiple platforms, so people, where, because they may interact with you on Instagram only, they may interact with you on Facebook only, so you really do want, you know, to make sure that information is out there on all of them.
so it could be something like you have the same content, but you're presenting it different ways across different platforms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Blake recommends also creating a unique hashtag.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
So I want to give kudos to Team Communify, and the reason why is because Rachel mentioned that they had offered free marketing sessions, right, as ways to connect with their members, and I took advantage of it, and it's been really big help with Bo and the team and the work they've done for me. But from a business strategy, I actually use that for my clients and have gotten great success. And I just took Communify's model, which was, here's a day that I'm going to be free. Here's my link into my, my online calendar, and you guys can go ahead and sign up for a 30-minute strategy session. It was a huge success for the people I worked with, and so I just want to thank Communify. If you guys haven't done something like that, you may want to talk to one of us, because it was just a great opportunity to connect with people and hear about what their pain points were right now. So thank you, Team Communify, for that idea.
Awesome. Anybody else have questions?
Melissa said, excellent point. Just learned about the same stuff about platforms and all. So that was good feedback. Lacey's saying that makes a lot of sense. And Rachel saying hashtags are your friend. So thank you, Rachel, for reminding us of that. Paige was here and she said, thank you very much. This was helpful. And while Rachel was talking, I thought of all the Instagram stories I skipped because they post so much. So she conferred what that was. This is wonderful. Thank y'all. And no other questions. Truth Page from Sheila. Special thanks to Communify for hosting.
Hey, Dustin, I got a question for you guys.
Sure.
When do you, is there a flag that people can use as to when to update their brand? Is there a marker that's like, wow, that's just really bad?
I'm trying to, it's so funny. We've kind of been talking about this. Does anybody else on the team want to jump in? Bo, Amanda, Philip?
Okay. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna tell it to you straight. I got my South Carolina coming out in me. Here's the truth. If your logo was designed using clip art, if your brand does not have a voice that represents, so when you're, number one, if your brand was designed, your logo designed using clip art, it's probably time to update that logo and give it a little bit, a little tuck and love. If your language of your brand does not reflect who you are and who you want to be, right? Like every business has a trajectory. This is where I want to go. Your rudder steers you. If your brand and your voice on your website doesn't do that, it's probably time to update your website. If your website has tons of clicks, and in order to find all the information, you got to click, 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 it's probably time to update that.
You don't want to wear your logo on your
also,
shirt.
Yeah, if you don't want to wear it on a shirt or a hat, if it can't be made really, really tiny and people still recognize it, or really, really big and people still are like, that's cool. Yeah, it's probably time. And I think, that's just me telling it to you straight. I think language is really important. You could have a really sexy logo, but if your language is really stiff and doesn't communicate who you are, that's not good. So it's hard when you love your brand to come to terms with the fact that it's time to redo a logo, but it's not saying the really great people who look at your logo, they find out who you are and they help you come up with something that really communicates who you are now. And they don't throw away the past. They may change it completely, but there's always like a little bit of, maybe it's in the language that carries through. I hope I've answered the question.
Rachel, I thought if it doesn't excite you or get you excited, it probably won't excite anybody else also. That's where I was.
Yeah.
Doesn't excite me, I'm not going to excite anybody else with it.
Yeah, you should be like, yeah, I want to wear this on a t-shirt.
Good drama. T-shirt barometer, a whole new thing. You guys can coin it right now. Any other questions?
Thank you all so much. I put our
chat.
Yeah, thanks, Albert. I put our my email address in the chat and our website. It's communify.me if anybody wants to continue the conversation.
Highly recommend.
Thank y'all.
Great team.
Thank y'all for spending lunch with us.
Thank you, Communify, very much for the support. I'm going to make sure that this recording gets over to Mike so that he can upload it. We don't have one scheduled right now, so I don't want to speak on behalf of Mike, but if there are, or the board, independent of them, but if there's anybody out there who has something to offer our community, our Gulf South Chamber community, please reach out to Mike or any one of the board members, and we could host one of these for you. Any topic that actually is reasonable, I guess, within the parameters of good professionalism. But for the most part, if you want to do something, we've had them on marketing, finances, health, HR. So as a community, we need to be in this together. And as a chamber, as an LGBT chamber, with our allies, we have to be in this together even more because our businesses depend on us sticking together through all of this. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Team Communify.
Hey, Albert, this is Mike with the chamber.
Mike?
Thank you for hosting the event for us and being our moderator. And certainly thank you to Dustin and Rachel for doing a phenomenal job. And all of you that participated. I know many of you from the chamber, so we certainly appreciate you joining us. And Albert, as Albert mentioned, you know, in this new environment we're in now, we're doing more of these webinars. So be on the lookout for more coming in the next weeks and months. But also go out to our chamber website and check out the events tab. We have a lot of information about upcoming events. So we appreciate everybody's involvement. Stay safe out there, stay well, and hopefully we'll be back together again and we can meet face to face and not virtually like this. So thanks.
And Michael is a former board member, so he can't speak on behalf of the board. Mike Daly also put his email address into the chat. So you got Dustin's email address, Mike's email address. You also have the chamber website that Dustin put in. So please reach out to any one of us so that we can get you connected with the community and let's spread some of your great wealth and talent and energy into the community so that we can stick through this together. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.